This is the Big O Show. 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 This is...
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura Integra for only $289 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura RDX for only $399 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
It's big. It's gigantic. It's the Toyota of Hollywood Super Sale. Over 2,000 Toyotas from just $17,988. Like a Corolla LE, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. Join the fun and get a super deal at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
South Florida, listen carefully. Osmani Garcia with Omega Realty Group is changing the game. He's not just listing homes. He's guaranteeing to sell yours in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it himself. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games. This is real. If you're serious about selling, call 305-440-1990 and see if your home qualifies. Osmani Garcia delivers results. Osmani Garcia, the home of the 30-day sale guaranteed, where guarantees are backed by action. Call now, don't wait. This market won't wait for you. Restrictions apply. Call 305-440-1990.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys and will do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welt and Rayom can help.
Where can you drive a new Acura ZDX for only $439 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning, boys and girls. Hope everything is well. Hope you're doing good on a beautiful Friday. Sean Stanley, of course, driving the program. Got a few things to talk about today, actually, on an off-season type of, because, man, we are, like, off, right? Outside of the Panthers, we got Inter Miami, too, but they're like a choke away from disappointing us again and all that good stuff with all that money they're spending. So, but it's like we're waiting, man. We got to wait for a Dolphins season to roll around, which not expecting much. Kane season to roll around. It's just it's rough. Heat season to come back because it's over. So the Panthers are, Obi-Wan Kenobi was Princess Leia's only hope. Well, the Panthers are our only. Well, I mean, there's another one there, but it's a different kind of team. So Panthers and Bitcoin are the only two teams that never let me down. That's the best part about it nowadays. Panthers and Bitcoin. But yeah, we got some stuff to talk about in an off-season day. And a couple of actually interesting Dolphin subjects to talk about. We will also talk to David Furones today. We will also talk to Manny Navarro today. So we'll get some football talk in there for you all. And we'll talk about a couple of other things going on in the world of sports. We still don't know what day is. Do we know when they're going to announce it, Sean? When the Panthers, because it's got to be by Monday, right? I would imagine. No, it's not going to be tomorrow. So, and I doubt it's going to be Sunday. I would imagine it's Monday or Tuesday, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I would probably say Monday. And then the other team that's still playing will probably start Tuesday when they finish their series, if they finish it.
Is Game 7 scheduled for Saturday or Sunday? That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, if 7 is needed, yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Yeah, because if they're playing today and they need Game 7 on Sunday, damn it, they can't play till Tuesday. So yeah, you're right.
Well, it looks like the Eastern Conference is already squared away. It's the Western Conference.
Right.
That's the Stars and Avalanche are 3-3, and Winnipeg leads the Blues 3-2.
And we didn't get the Kachuk matchup because Ottawa got eliminated yesterday by Toronto. I was pulling for Ottawa because I wanted them to go to 7 games and, our Cats get more rest. And I didn't really give a shit who advanced. You know what I'm saying? Although if you play Ottawa, I don't know, do Kachuk's teammates take it easy on Kachuk the brother? I'm just saying it's kind of like an odd thing, right? So I'm glad that it ended up being Toronto just for that, because it puts one brother in a really tough position than the other brother, So not an easy thing to be a part of. Oh, Chile issues tsunami warning after earthquake. Prayers for the folks in Chile. Wow. That's got to be like really intimidating when somebody says there's a tsunami warning and you live on the coast of wherever you're at in the world. That's got to be pretty damn scary. Let's see what we got. Ty in the Bronx, thank you for the love early on already. Damn. Thank you. Appreciate the super chat. He says Dolphins 8-9, Big O, getting ready for the excuses. Well, maybe the Dolphins can blame Biden. Everybody else does. So that's what we'll do. We'll blame Biden for the 8 wins or 7 or whatever. We could probably do something like that. Let's see what we got. Bitcoin hovering around 97. It's at 96,919. There's over $2 billion of shorts in the 100 level. So if we bust through, and remember, did I not say all last week we needed to cross 95.3 and kind of close higher than that finally by midweek? Well, yesterday, Thursday, we went into the 97 and we finally closed above that 95.3, 95.2 area because we were farting around that area. We just would not close any higher than that. We needed to bust through, or we could have had a little bit of not much, maybe to 92, 90, 80, 88 or 89, which would have been great of another buying zone. But I told you, if it needed a bust down yesterday, it finally got out because the RSI was going down. Now the RSI is going up. The volume is still not where you would like it to be, but it was pretty high yesterday, but not high enough. Yet we went all the way to 97. So it just shows you the strength of Bitcoin right now. So if it starts pumping here to 100 and you bust the $2 billion shorts, it's going to shoot to 105, 106 with a quickness. So very interesting today if there's any run on Bitcoin and it runs $3,000. The funny part about this is, okay, do you know how ridiculous it sounds for any stock or anybody else to run for, like, we take it for granted when it comes to Bitcoin. Oh, I run a couple $1,000s. Well, MasterCard can't do that. Microsoft can't do that. Berkshire Hathaway doesn't do that. Nobody does that except Bitcoin. And we kind of take it for granted, the power of Bitcoin. And that's why people look at the volatility like a negative thing. Those of us that actually follow it look at the volatility as opportunity, because when it hits, that's your opportunity, because the end result will be the bounce. It's going to go back up again, and we are going to soar past 108 soon. It's just one of those things, and we'll get to a high point where we will again take a little bit of a step back, and that will be volatility is opportunity. And that's the difference, with Bitcoin. The volatility, it gives you an opportunity because you will always have the lettuce hands that are taking part, the people that don't know anything about Bitcoin, the people that just bought it, the people that heard just somebody else talk about it, but they never looked into it. They never looked into our money. And so then they'll sell with any little scare or any news, anything like that, any Trump tweet or whatever, they'll sell. The rest of us, we're like, no, we're not selling. We're not selling. Oh, there's a tweet. Oh, there's a dump. Oh, we're buying. That's what we do. So it's amazing how it's held and how it's just gotten stronger and stronger and stronger in a market that is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. So it is in a world market that is getting weaker and weaker and weaker, actually. So, that's what you also have to understand. Every part in the world pretty much is suffering. And meanwhile, that thing is growing and getting more powerful because people are figuring it out slowly but surely. Unfortunately, there's billions that will not know. But we are at 97,065. I am not a financial advisor. I don't know a damn thing. Okay? Just so you'll know. But I'll give you my 2 cents. You do what you want after that. What else do we have here? Dolphin Dave in the house. He says, need to tell there's a CB, you got paid from us, you play for us, or you don't play, and you have some balls. Go Dolphins. Yeah, problem is you have a guy, it's like when he wants to be a jerk, he's going to be a big-time jerk. And something happened between him and the coach. I'm with you, Dolphin Dave. I would turn to Jalen and say, F you, bro. We paid you last year. Shut the hell up, line up, and go do your damn job. And that's it. That's what I would tell him to do. You know what I'm saying? But because we don't have that atmosphere, we don't have that kind of coach, it is what it is. This is why it's hard to ever imagine anything with this guy moving forward. But it's like Joe Philbin getting an extension after the Minnesota Vikings win. Y'all remember that? And 99% of us with common sense. There's always a couple of idiots that are just like out on the periphery and like, well, Joe Philbin's not so bad. I mean, one more year, there's always that silly fan. But most of us were like, what are you doing? It's the same thing. What are you doing? Have you not watched the man for 3 years? What do you think? It's going to change or something? So it's just hard for me to imagine anything with that guy, like big time success. So now you're stuck with that. But I have a solution to Jalen Ramsey. You got to hold on. We'll talk about it on the show. But I have a solution. One of the topics we will talk about. Okay. So it's all good. If I don't put like a Dolphin headline on the show, less people go to the show. It's awesome. And then so Shad has to he'll make a rant out of that thing that I'm going to say later on in the show. And then the Dolphins will go to that. You know what I mean? But it's funny because they're not really all about the overall talk show and all the other sports or entertainment or music or investing and stuff like that. They're not into that kind of stuff. So, it's just that we have that group of people that are just Neanderthal football, and that's all they know, and that's all they talk about. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what this show's about. I love my football, but, piecemeal, baby. There's lots of other things to watch, enjoy, and talk about. You know what I'm saying? And there's some things in life that you should follow that might be a little better than sports, actually. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar, the amazing Sean Stanley. Alan Blanco, give him a ring. If your company, your corporation, your school, whatever entity it is you work for, you got a big old group, you're going on some kind of trip, you all want to wear the same shirt, you got uniforms, hats, and shirts, whatever it is that you need, 3A Graphics can get it done for you. Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443. Tell them that Big O sent you. Anywhere in the country, they can take care of you. Round 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals is set for the Florida Panthers. They will take on the Toronto Maple Leafs, who eliminated the Ottawa Senators. We still don't know what day the series will start. My best guess, it's going to be a Monday or Tuesday, but that's just simply a guess. It might be even Sunday. I don't know. But we'll see. The league will announce, and we will talk about it when it happens. On Saturday at Chase Stadium, Inter Miami will host the Red Bull of New York. Beyond Bankcard Field on Saturday, the Fort Lauderdale United, the ladies, will host Brooklyn FC. And on Sunday, USL action, Miami FC will visit Monterey Bay FC. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. What else do we have, folks? Don't forget Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Go see the GM out there. Alan is a really, really good dude. Got to meet him. He just took over, actually. They made a change at general manager, and Alan just took over this month. Brian Medina's out there too. I saw him Wednesday when we were there at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. And folks, if you are looking for a Subaru vehicle, Get on down there. They've got a bunch of great deals. Go see my guy, Eric Stampone. He is a flat-out stud. He was with us on the show the other day. Thomas, Gene, Samuel, a lot of good people out there. A lot of great people out there, actually, at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, a proud sponsor. Use that QR code right there. You get $500 off your next Subaru if you use our name. All right, so use the QR code and all that because it helps us, by the way, if you use that QR code. And, of course, helps you if you're going to save $500, too. I mean, $500 is, it's a good thing right there. It's not a bad thing when you can actually save $500. So make sure you give them a check out there at 16100 Pines Boulevard and tell them that Big O sent you, folks. And check out the latest Crosstrek, featuring their all-wheel drive advanced safety tech and adventure-ready capability. And, of course, mention us. You will get $500 off your next Subaru. All right. Let's see what else. Gus 1388. NorCal is a puffin. One-Eyed Jack is in the house. Jay Gelfin. Yes, sir. He says, excited to be seeing Fort Lauderdale and Brooklyn tomorrow night. And did you check out the latest from Joe Bonamassa? Yes, I saw the new stuff and the tour. So hopefully get to see him again. Jam, he's so good, man. God, he is just an absolute stud. In a world where we don't produce those kind of folks anymore, that's one of the few that we have produced, because he is going to go down as just one of the greatest when it's all said and done. And, of course, he also says to smash the like button. La Fama is in. Aaron Hernandez is in. Says, haven't typed in for a while, but still tuning in, enjoying them cats. Thank you, Aaron. Very nice of you. Jamie Zoria in San Jose. Have a great weekend, my friend. Horn Dog, Alexis Palenzuela, Lisa, Rod Carew. Should we not blame? Yeah, we got to blame. Remember, we were blaming Tua for everything. Now we got to blame Biden for everything. That's how it goes. It goes from Tua to Biden now. Big Johnson, Lenny Pena, Corso. Let's see, Frankie Fresco. This year it's going to be more of the same with our Finns. Play won't come in on time, and we won't be able to run the ball. When we have to, we lose every challenge. We'll beat the bad teams, but not the good teams. Yeah, kind of, the broken record that it's who we are. Armando says he hit the like button. Thank you. Es justo that you hit it. Let's see what else. Anthony Kyle Campos, Miami Sports Funeral in the background. Yep. What else? Might be wrong, Big O. I think the new Karate Kid film and Jurassic World movie are going to be summer blockbusters. I don't know. I have no idea, my friend. We shall see. But we shall see. I know this. I will definitely go see the Jurassic Park one on a Tuesday. Oh, I went and saw The Accountant 2 this past Tuesday, because Tuesday you could go and I think it's like $6. So on Tuesdays I go with the wife sometimes, not every Tuesday, but we go check out a film because you get a nice fat ass discount on it. And we went to see The Accountant 2. I enjoyed the first one. I didn't see it in the movies. I saw it on the tube at home, and I told her, I don't mind. We'll go see it. And it was entertaining. I'm not gonna tell you it was like this phenomenal movie, but it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. If you enjoy the first one, you'll enjoy the second one because of the relationship between the brothers and all that kind of stuff. So it was enjoyable. So I would tell you, Jurassic would be one I would definitely try to see in the theaters. The Karate Kid, there's no chance in hell that I am going to the theaters to see that. But Jurassic, I definitely will see. I'll wait for the Karate Kid, to come on Netflix or whatever the hell movie service that I have there. Frankie Fresco says, question for Sean, and thank you for the love in the super chat. Like Anthony, thank you. El Grande Americano or La Parca, Sean?
El Grande Americano, all day, air day.
Okay. Todos los días, says Sean Stanley. So you got it. El Grande Americano. I would take it that he is tall. He's not really 5'5". He's not like that guy you call tiny and he's really big. It's not the opposite, right?
He is 5'5".
Rod Carew is in the house. I recommend Sinners if you like vampire movies. Was it really good? Because Vampires and Sex has been done over and over and over again. I saw the previews and I'm like, bro, how much more Vampires and Sex? Like, is it really written well? Is there a great plot to it? Or is it just Vampires and Sex? That's what I don't know. When I look at it, I'm like, oh, Vampires and Sex. Okay, I've seen that over and over again. It kind of gets old. It's kind of like bringing a new Superman movie. I'm tired of just, bro, enough. Their storylines aren't really gripping enough to, it's not written in a way that, oh my God, like Maverick was a great plot, well written, the way it was designed. For you to come back with that story and come back with a sequel, it was a guaranteed flop situation. And they freaking nailed it, dude. Okay? And that's my point. When it's been done before, how did you write this to make it different, to make it really engaging? And that's when I see the Sinners thing, that's Vampires and Sex. Okay. Whatever, dude. I've seen that a whole bunch of other times already. So is it really a good movie? And that's where sometimes some movies nowadays, they go for the shiny object part of it, but it's really when you go into the substance of it, there's no substance there. So if you're going for an action movie, okay, it's just an action movie. You're already fine-tuned to it. But is it an action movie with a great plot where it's well written, where it keeps you guessing? That's what I'm talking about. And that's why when I see the Sinners previews, there's no reason it makes me want to go to the movies to see it. I'll just say I'll wait for it when it comes, because I don't really expect much from something like that. So you'll have to tell me if it's actually a really good movie, or is it just the same shit, Vampires and Sex? Let's see what else. John Buckland says, good morning, Big O. You're the best. Keep grinding, baby. Go Panthers. Thank you, John. Much love. I appreciate that. What else? Shang Tusheng. Greer, no way hired McMoran. I'm sure of it now from what's unfolding. Well, we've talked about it, right? Throughout the year. Like, if at the end of this coming season, McDaniel doesn't survive, but Greer does, then that tells me that the influence of McDaniel was brought in by somebody else, and then Greer was just the good soldier trying to work with him. And he's got, and if that's the case, the only thing I would tell Chris Greer now is, bro, don't work with anybody. Do what you think is right. That's what the general manager should always do. Your coach can say whatever he wants, and you can try to appease him and help him, but you got to do what's best for the team at the same time. So sometimes you got to tell the coach, no, bro, shut the hell up. This is what we got to do. This is what's best for now and the long run. So you do your job, I'll do mine. And that's it. But that hasn't been established either. And the sad part is, under his watch, there's been a lot of talent that has come in and out. And so it's just a matter of keeping the right guys and letting go the right guys and not bringing in the wrong guys. Okay? Because the Tyreek thing, you tried it, and if you at least would have let him go after this year, okay, you got some good mileage out of it, you move on. But now you're stuck with this whole circus. And then that's where it sours on the, and the Wilkins one, however you want to look at it, it was the right move. He wasn't worth the money, and he broke down. So, you know what I mean? The Van Ginkel one, not a good move. Right? But then again, how does Chop turn into? Because you probably don't draft Chop if you keep Van Ginkel. So you've got a much younger pass rusher now than you would have had with Van Ginkel. So there's a give and take, you know what I'm saying? But it's just a very frustrating thing. A Rob Hunt, like we all talked about. I was with everyone else, pretty much the majority. Yeah, no, you can't pay him that much. Now I've admitted, because hindsight is 2020, you have to admit when you're wrong. And we were wrong about Rob Hunt. You had to pay the guard $20 million. That's where the market was going. It wasn't like, oh, nobody was ever going to get paid that. No, now everybody's going to get paid that when they're really good. And we saw it this year. Two guards got paid that. Going rate. That's how it goes. Suck it up and pay it. But it is what it is. And you got to stop because, no, we can make somebody else a guard. No. That's where the GM says, no. This guy's a monster. He's staying here. We'll figure something else out. So it's just a mix that has not worked out for us for 40 years. Whatever it is, finding the right, general manager, coach, and quarterback, and offensive line and defensive line, and, and front office and entire coaching staff. And, it's just, we don't nail the whole combination. It's brutal, dude. Absolutely brutal. It's just one of those where it just keeps you crazy. Moody's Dental. If your family, you're looking for a dentist that can assist you and your family get that smile back, call my friends at Moody's Dental. It's a family-run practice. They've got 2 amazing locations in Hialeah and Plantation. There's the phone numbers for those of you listening on audio. In Dade, 305-821-0231. In Broward, 954-692-6825. And they do practically everything. Invisaligns, dental implants, preventive care, cosmetic surgery. So if you want to get and keep that clean smile or get that beautiful smile back, see our friends at Moody's Dental. Call them for an appointment. And, of course, check them out on Instagram at moodius.dental. And if you follow them on Instagram, you will also be eligible for giveaways too. So moodius.dental. Great people. I go there. My wife goes there. My daughter goes there. My mother-in-law goes there. So, whole family goes there. I think we trust them. Okay. I don't know. Something tells me we do. Anyway, let's see. They're saying it's one of the best horror movies of all time. Oh, so they're saying. So you didn't really see it. Okay. Let's see. I don't know. Horn Dog says, Sinners was effing good. My wife and I are going to go back to see it again. Lots of hidden messages. Okay. All right. Let's see. If Jimmy and Golden State win, do you still feel the Heat took too long to trade? Yeah, dude. Frankie, why are you asking me a stupid question? The Heat are morons. Okay? I can call the Heat morons, and I can call most of you morons. Because I said to trade Jimmy, not this offseason, not last offseason, before this contract you gave him. Right after the last finals. Go back. The video's there, Frankie. I mean, what are you asking me, dude? Most of you are fucking morons, and the Heat are fucking morons. I'm the genius. I'm the one that said right after the championship, trade Jimmy. Sorry, dude. You would have gotten 4 picks then. You would have gotten 4 first-rounders at that moment. You know what I mean? But you got to have balls to say that. You got to have balls to do it, and the Heat failed to have balls. The Heat and the Dolphins do not know when to get off the gravy train. We do on the show, because the Heat get to the finals, and we tell you, that's it. You got to trade Jimmy right now. Oh, no, it's going to go on forever. We're going to enjoy so much success. And then that's when you F up, Frankie, because you don't have the balls to make the tough move. X gets the 10 interceptions. What did I say right after that season? Trade him now. He had 7 interceptions the next 3 years. Tyler Hero. I told you, get rid of his ass by the trade deadline if you can. And no, they hung on to him, and he effed up his trade value now. Yeah, sure, he stayed healthy, but he folded like a cheap tent when it counted. And everybody else saw it. And the other team called his ass out. You got to know when to get off the gravy train. I told you last year, Tyreek Hill, do not guarantee that money. They guaranteed the money. The Dolphins and the Heat have no fucking idea how to get off the gravy train. You know why? Because they're so desperate to hang on to what they have. They think it's going to, they're like fans like you guys, and they can't compartmentalize. They can't put their emotions, their little fanboy and fangirl emotions aside and say, okay, what's best for the team? Yeah, we just got to the NBA Finals. Yeah, Jimmy's our best player. But right now we can get 4 first-round picks for him. You hung on for a couple more years. It all got sour, and you didn't get shit for him. So, hell yeah, bro. I haven't changed my mind at all, and most of you are idiots, and the Dolphins and the Heat are fucking idiots. Because most of you disagreed with me on getting rid of X. Most of you disagreed with me on not paying Tyreek. And all of you practically disagreed with me on trading Jimmy. Some of us have foresight. Others have foreskin. Sorry, can't do anything with you. I got the extra intelligence. You got the extra skin. Let's go talk some Dolphins with David Furones and our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welt and Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
All right. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm happy that it's Friday, and actually excited to, even though I'm not a big like F1 guy or anything like that, excited for this weekend to check that out. I'm going to be out there Sunday to check out the race.
Oh, you got a media credential?
Not credential. I was thinking back a while. I was thinking I might cover it, but Perk is covering it for us. And I actually just got invited to a thing, so I'll be checking it out. And
okay, so you got invited. Okay.
Yeah.
To me, I would go for the event of it.
Yes, I love that. Yeah.
The race does nothing for the sport itself. I find it boring as hell. It's the same guy practically winning all the time every year. It's been like that forever. It's who has the best car and all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of that part to me is just but the way they do it here is really nice.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I can understand people wanting to go to the event itself. One of the things
Miami does it right. Because I mean that campus is top of the line. But I agree with you as far as just the race aspect. And I mean, maybe if I knew more about it, I'd get more into it. But it's kind of like once I see the car zoom by one time, I've seen them all. It's like I see it. All right, I saw it. But it did change last time. Lando Norris.
For me, NASCAR has more storylines, more rivalries. The guys will get into fights. I love NASCAR. I just think just NASCAR for me, and there's bumping and all of that. So I just think there brings more to it.
Maybe we got to watch that series. I know there's that. Was it a Netflix series a few years back? I know
one. Yeah.
Which I missed it and I haven't checked it yet. But I mean, I remember like back on year one, I went with a friend who had just watched it and was getting into it because of that. So maybe I got to watch that. And although I guess the storylines would be a little outdated by now.
Yeah. But it does give you a good feel for the sport itself. So yes, it is worth watching. It does educate you. Okay.
Yeah.
So I watched a couple of episodes. It's just I'm more of it's kind of like golf. I don't really want to watch it on television. I really have almost no interest. Maybe on a Sunday, like right at the end, the last hour or two, if there's something exciting, maybe I might watch that. But I'm not the guy that's going to sit there all day on my ass and watch golf for 6 hours. And there's no way, bro, that'll put me to sleep. But if I go live and you give me a cigar and I get to walk the fairway like I used to do at Doral, okay, I can do that. I'm good with that. That's fun.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, that's kind of the way it is. I'd like to be there and enjoy the atmosphere and all that, the event, but the race itself.
Yeah. I'm the same way with golf. I'll tune in for Masters Sunday back nine. Like once it's like, all right, this is what it's coming down to, and maybe I need like to see a leaderboard where there's something happening to know to tune in. If someone's running away with it, I might not, but that's kind of I'm the same way with golf. I really need it to be like coming down to the wire, and I actually enjoyed it when I watched this past Masters that Sunday, that race with Rory McIlroy. Like, would he choke? Would he step up? And that was interesting.
All right, so right before you came on, and it's interesting because I'm glad they asked it because it brings up a really interesting subject. And as my mind was working, I came up with a really interesting dynamic that has developed here in South Florida lately. There are two teams that know when not to get off. They don't know how to get off the gravy train. And there's only one team that does. So we've watched over the last couple of years, the Miami Heat and Pat Riley have made the mistake over and over and over again. They had the upstarts have a half-decent season, and they said, oh, no, let's sign Whiteside and Dion Waiters and all these other clowns for 4 years. Stupid. Just milk what you have and move on and stay flexible. And they didn't, and they tied themselves down for 4 years. When Jimmy Butler was obviously balling for them and getting to that second championship, I said, now's the time you got to get off the bandwagon. Get the Hall of Picks so you can restock the team and start doing it over. But they didn't, and they ruined the window, and they're done. And they were dumb about it, unfortunately. I could come up with a couple of other scenarios for the Heat, but we'll move over to your beat, the Dolphins. So X, he has the 10 interceptions. Obviously, I'm the dick, and I said, now's the time. X has had a ton of injuries. He's had a ton of problems off the field. He just had the greatest year of his life. You're never going to get this again. Trade him now at his height, and you can get something. Dolphins failed. They paid the price. Tyreek, it's back-to-back 1,700-yard seasons. You got to understand that shit's going to end. You got value right now. You're at a peak. He wants more money. Don't guarantee it. Just let it play out. He's not going to have a third 1,700-yard season. And look what's happened. Now you're stuck with a guy that has baggage on top of inconsistencies on the field. You got to know when to get off the gravy train. The Panthers, the owners take over. They see that Dale Talon isn't the guy. And by the way, way before any of the beat guys. You know, get to toot my horn a lot on this fucking show. But way before the beat guys, I said, you got to fire Dale Talon. He's not getting the job done. And that was blasphemous. I had George Richards. I had David Dork on. I would tell them that, and they wouldn't even touch the subject because they're on the beat. But they made the decision that, dude, the best has come from him. Yeah, he got us Barkov and Ekblad and Huberdeau and all these guys. We need to part ways. And they did. And then the other one was, I said, you got to get rid of Huberdeau. Why? You're never going to win with Barkov and Huberdeau because they're too what was it I called them? Goobers. They're really like guys that are leaders in that sense. They're kind of great players in their own way, and they'll do their job, but they're not going to lead. You need a dog. You need this guy for Kachuk. Well, I didn't say Kachuk. I said you got to go get a stop for him. And they did. The guy Kachuk. They did the hard move. That we got to get rid of one of our top players. Okay, they understood what grade to train and when to get off of it. I wonder who's having success and who isn't. You know, it's interesting that the teams that know when to get off a gravy train, when to make the tough decisions, is the only one that is winning. And the teams that don't know how to make the tough decisions, like the Dolphins and the Heat, you know, they're screwing things up. They're actually setting their teams back in the process.
Yeah. Now, with the Heat, let's also remember they have brought 3 championships to Miami, and it's not like it was that
matters, bro. None of that matters. We got to talk about what's going on.
Got to the finals 2020, 2023.
We got to talk about what, bro. Giannis was injured, Embiid was injured, and then the bubble year. We got to stop with that. Those are fluke things.
Oh, don't make it about the bubble year.
Fluke shit.
Yeah, that team handled adversity better than the other teams.
Exactly.
That's a championship DNA quality.
Both seasons were flukish. Were never real. You were never really that good. You just had a shortened season.
You had to beat the Celtics too.
Yeah. Which they weren't ready. They were kind of green still at that point. They're not what they are now, that they handle you and they just get rid of you. Everything was a perfect storm for the Miami Heat. We just lie to ourselves and we think that it's more than what it is. Brother, I've lived this. This is the 80s Dolphins. We weren't that good in 82. And then when we get to the championship, Washington just runs all over our asses. And then in 85 with Marino, you had a hot hand. He threw 5,000 yards, all that shit. And then when you get to San Francisco, guess what? They handle your ass on offense and defense because you really weren't that good. Sometimes, you know, the Panthers are really that good. The Big Three were really that good. The 70s Dolphins were really that good. The 80s and very early 90s Canes were really that good. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Sometimes we lie to ourselves about some of the accomplishments. Sometimes it's flukish and you get there. And yes, it's great that they got there, but they still don't make the right decisions. It's more of Spo bailing out the front office more than anything else the last 10 years. The last 10 years, he's been bailing out the front office. Mm-hmm. Okay. Since the Big Three, the front office of the Miami Heat is mediocre, bro. Mediocre.
Yeah, because those rosters weren't supposed to go all that far. Yeah, that was masterful coaching from Spo.
That's my point.
Yeah, and to win a series. Mm-hmm.
That's my exact point there. They're not that good in the front office right now. And they fail to make the right decisions. They used to be dogs in the front office. Mm-hmm. They used to make tough decisions. They used to, you know, but now in the last 10 years, they've kind of lost their fastball. The Miami Dolphins have never had a fastball since the 70s. So right now, they have failed to make really tough decisions. And by the way, were you for paying Tyreek?
No. I mean, I remember last offseason, we talked about it all spring and summer was don't do that. Maintain your flexibility. And then it went the way it did.
Horrible move on their part. You know what I mean? The X one, I can understand. You were probably one of those guys, right? That, oh, you don't mind. You would have never thought of trading X after the 10 interceptions. That was a crazy idea from my part, which I was right completely, because once you get to a point where a person's at an age and, a peak, you got to understand where that peak is. And if you're the front office, whether it's Chris Greer or whether it's Pat Riley, you got to know when that moment is, and you got to be able to get off that moment, dude.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that with X just because it felt that was he presented the Dolphins' greatest strength for those seasons, and then I'm not a fan of just turning strengths into weaknesses, which is what you would have done with your corners at that point, and then you would have been holding on to Byron Jones, who really did not work out in Miami. To keep Byron Jones instead of X, that would have been tough.
X turned into weakness. That's what happened. From that point on, he had 7 interceptions in the next 3 years. And he was burned. He wasn't the guy anymore. After that, he was never that guy again. He was never that guy again at all. And he had off-the-field issues too.
Yeah.
So that was his peak right there at that moment. I understand. Look, I totally understand. People get enamored, and 10 interceptions is an amazing feat, but that's where you're going to get value. That's where somebody's going to give you a first and a second or something like that. They're going to do it because they're going to think, oh, we're an X away at that moment. And that's why I would have traded Butler after the championship run, because somebody would have said, we're a Butler away, and you would have gotten 4 first-rounders at that moment, maybe 5. And the Miami Heat would have been able to help. That would have helped them to rebuild where they're at now. And they don't have anything to rebuild. And for the Dolphins, their secondary is still a problem. At least if you trade X at that moment, maybe that helps you shore up the secondary with draft picks, more than just Cam, because Cam hasn't worked out, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting that the Panthers are the one team that makes the really difficult decisions that the Heat and the Dolphins refuse to make.
Yeah, I remember that Huberdeau trade, and I'm not the biggest hockey aficionado to know it all, but I remember just thinking what I know Huberdeau from being here, and I'm like, they really traded Huberdeau? And I was kind of like along the lines of everyone else and what they were thinking. But then, yeah, it's you got to know what you're getting to. And then once I found out who Kachuk was, then I'm like, okay, like who he really, yeah, I've heard the name and stuff. But then once I saw him down here, then I'm like, oh, okay, I see what they were seeing, and how it changed their playoff type of culture that they bring, and how they have more toughness for those more physical postseason series, and it has worked wonders since. So, but yeah, foresight is huge for franchises. That's why these guys that run the organizations should be paid the big bucks to have that difference in vision from the fans, who the fans like the way I just described myself with the Panthers and the Huberdeau trade. I was like, no, you cannot do that. but it's those guys in the front office that have to be able to differentiate, know the whole league, and know how that guy can fit into what you're doing and what he can add, and the value that you're getting for the one you're shipping out. Mix all those things into the equation and figure out the best move for the organization, and have the goal to do it if it's not a popular choice.
And I'm a huge Riley guy, but he has been screwing up a lot lately, and he's got to get his shit together to get them around. And I'm a Greer guy, but those are a couple mistakes that he has made that just, and they're not hindsight, because I talked about them all here on the show, and I said, you have to make these moves now, and they failed to do it. And those are things that have set them back, unfortunately, man. It has sucked.
With Riley, I think it's been more missing on the big whales ever since. I mean, aside from Jimmy Butler, and he wasn't even considered that big of a whale that free agency. He was like good player, but he was just the number. Was he? He was like the number 2, maybe even number 3, because people were still high on Ben Simmons with the Sixers back then after Embiid. So then you snagged him with the foresight that he could be a number one that could take a team on a deep playoff run for the Heat. It turned into finals runs with some other things happening for them, like you mentioned. But I feel like after those two, it was more like add to what you have, not move off of Jimmy. Like they were trying to land Damian Lillard that offseason when his value was still high, before this unfortunate Achilles, the blood clots, which is just awful for him. But, the way the Bucks tried to pair Giannis and Dame and have that vision, which hasn't worked out in Milwaukee. But, I feel like coming off that finals run, it was about giving Jimmy another weapon than moving off of him, where I feel like you would have just sort of been punting on the next couple of seasons at that point when you just made a finals run. So I was okay with trying to add another superstar to the core of Jimmy and Tyler Hero growing and Bam Adebayo, obviously.
Yeah, and by the way, the other result of all of this is people want to be a part of the Panthers. They'll take less money to be here, which their stars are taking less money to accommodate their other stars, and then other people want to be traded here. Nobody wants to be traded to the Dolphins. Nobody wants to really be in the Dolphins. Nobody really wants to be traded to the Heat. Nobody really, oh my God, I got to be there in the Heat. That's gone, dude. That's gone.
The Panthers are landing rivals. Marshawn?
The Panthers are, but what hurt the Heat, what hurt the Dolphins was if McDaniel has real success over the last couple of years where he gets to the playoff and wins some games, this season would have been a season where guys would have sacrificed and would have stayed here because the momentum was building. Unfortunately, it's gone the other way. It's declining as it is, and so people don't want to be a part of this. The Heat is the same thing. I'm already hearing people talk about, well, Bam is a guy people want to play with. Nobody wants to play with Bam, bro. Okay? Just because he's friends with people on the USA basketball team and all that, they see what we see. Offensively, he ain't a dog. He doesn't bring it. So why is somebody going to come to play with a person that isn't a dog, that isn't going to take the pressure off them on off nights? Because you can't ask the superstar to score 30 points every night. You got to have a Jaylen Brown to a Tatum. You got to have a yin to a yang in the NBA. And sometimes you got to have two yings to a yang. Okay? You don't even have a yin or a yang on this team. Tyler isn't, Bam isn't, but yet we have people already delusional talking about how Bam may want to recruit people or people writing about that. He's not recruiting a goddamn thing. Nobody really wants to play with Bam. He's a nice guy. He's a great guy. You want to be friends with him. But that's the other thing that's happening now. The Heat are no longer an organization that people are dying. These new generational players over the last 10 years and what's happened now since the Big Three, things have changed, dude. You have changed the image of your team over the last 10 years. And the Dolphins, well, they haven't changed their image for 40 years. So that's the other thing. You look at what the Panthers have developed. They've developed a team people want to be a part of. The Heat and the Dolphins, it's interesting. They're not really franchises that players and their agents are clamoring to be a part of or send them there.
Yeah. And the Dolphins had that quick glimpse run where, yes, you were getting prized veterans and free agents that wanted to come here as the team was building, but then now that's what happens when you start to see the decline. Now you have to draft well, which that's what they're hoping they did at the top of this draft, and then probably we'll have to do it some more in the coming years and hope that the past draft class
Hold on a second.
develops as well.
Hold on a second. It's and sorry to make the comparison because some of you get all butt hurt. It's very Kamala Harris.
Why is that?
Yeah, Kamala Harris. She made a great campaign run, right? Because she had every name in the book come up there and perform and all that. Well, we found out she paid all of them. That's why they were all there. All those stars lined up because she paid them. Well, the Dolphins were only sexy because they paid them. I just told you, the Panthers, they're sexy because people are taking less money. So this whole thing about paying, we've done this over 30 years of free agency We've done this over and over and over again where we've paid, and then there's no end result to it. That's why they come here. It's not because they think you're going to win. It's because you're paying them. It's not like Jalen Ramsey took less. It's not like Tyreek blatantly told everybody he chose Miami over New York because the tax laws over there in New York made him earn less money. So he came here. So it's not really that we're sexy. It's that we pay and there's no state tax. That's all it is. It's not like people were taking less to accommodate for us outside of what? Calais Campbell?
Calais Campbell took less that year. Yeah. It was still a destination Teron Armstead wanted to come to that 22 offseason as a free agent. And Tyreek, he was paid handsomely, of course. But Calais Campbell did take less. And so Jalen Ramsey, he did – the Dolphins were a team that matched all the criteria for the trade to where he wanted to go.
This offseason is different than the offseason that Calais Campbell came here. When he came here, he wasn't asking for $8 million because nobody was going to give him that. It's just after the season he had, somebody said, oh, bro, we need that leadership, and he's still productive. Let's bring it, because they're paying him also for leadership too, because it's super important, obviously, in the locker room. And obviously the example that man sets. But nobody was giving him big money last year when Miami signed him. If he would have signed, it would have been right around the same everywhere else he would have gone.
You know? Yeah. But, I mean, the Dolphins fit all the criteria of what Jalen Ramsey was looking for when he was getting traded 2 years ago. So Tyreek Hill already had a home in South Florida. So that was, yes, the money played a big role, but that was a big part in him wanting to join the Dolphins. And it had to be a team with an offensive-minded guru coach, just as he was going into his first year, at least having the sight that he was hoping that the offense could do a lot for him. And he had to trust Tua as well. So there were all those factors for Tyreek as well, and Armstead that same offseason.
Frankie Fresco sends in a super chat. He says Jalen Ramsey had a falling out with Doug Marrone in 19. Jalen also said, Fangio, I will never forgive that coach for not utilizing him. And X looks like Jalen is more of a problem than McDaniel. Yeah, but it's the airplane movie. Shayna, they bought their tickets. They knew what they were getting into. I say, let them crash. Bro, you know who Jalen Ramsey is. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's – by the way, there's another one. Why did you pay him last year? There's no reason to pay him. None whatsoever. Why did you do that? There was no reason to extend McDaniel. Why did you do that? There was no reason to guarantee Tyreek. The things that they do, baffling.
It was the offseason of appeasement was 2024 for the Miami Dolphins. It was I laid it out one time in a tweet. It was, all right, you extend Jalen Waddle. You gave Tua his big quarterback contract extension. You extended McDaniel. Tyreek Hill got the guarantees added to his contract. And then Jalen Ramsey before week one is like, what the fuck? I ain't practicing. You're paying everybody else and not me. And I do what I do. Then you appease him too. Since then, out of all five of those, they've all either let you down or have asked out. And in Tyreek Hill's case, both. He was under 1,000 yards last year, so he let you down with his performance. And he even had the post-game locker room tirade asking to get out of the organization, which he has since walked back. But still, that did happen. So,
and the only one that I would have approved is Waddle. That's the only one that you should have done because it was up. And that's now time to do it. And that's fine.
Yeah, you got ahead of it. Yeah, because it's only going to go up. You wait another year for the fifth-year option, then it's only going to go up. But even he had his first season below 1,000 yards. It was his worst season.
But I have to be honest.
Yeah.
That's the only one I would have done, and it would have been, it would have been questionable or whatever, but I'm on the record. I would have never done any of those other ones. I would have no, Jalen, no, we're good right now, bro. No, we're not doing that. No, Tyreek, no, sorry. No, we're not. No, oh, Mike, no, you haven't earned it. No, we're not doing that right now.
And Tua is the quarterback market too. So yeah, what was your stance on Tua?
Dude, Tua, you have to do. You have no choice. The two issues with Tua is one, the team doesn't do enough to protect them on the offensive line because you got a coach also that doesn't, put value into guards. You don't stick to the run.
Well, they're trying to change that now. They did change that.
Yeah, it's a little late now. But anyway, and then the other one is that Tua's a moron. He wants to go seek contact, and he's got to play like Marino and Brady and Manning and Breeze and all those other guys that are statues. They just found a player and got rid of the ball and didn't take hits. And they didn't go and seek contact. I don't know what makes that kid think that is a smart move. That's a dumbass move on his part. So, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's the competitor in him that comes out, but he's got to restrain that and channel that energy into his focus on his quarterback play, not trying to go be a warrior like those other 11 guys on offense and defense. Just be the quarterback that the Dolphins need you to be.
All right, what do you got going on in the Sentinel here in the off season? What are you working on this weekend besides the F1?
Yeah, no, I mean I got a good weekend off here, so just only if there's news. I'll be on call if the I'll get myself prepared for the Jalen Ramsey scenarios if they occur. I think the franchise would be smart to just wait post June 1, but at least coming off draft last weekend, I get this weekend to just relax unless something happens.
Yeah, I'm with you. So follow him on Twitter at David Furones _, so you can get Dolphin news and F1 nuggets. Okay, so
maybe yeah. I don't know how many nuggets I'm gonna get. I'm there to have a good time.
All right, just one thing: don't speed around the facility when you go over there to the F1 race. Okay, because we have other people that speed during events. So just make sure. Okay, just because you cover him, it might rub off. So I want to make sure you take it easy when you drive over to the stadium. All right.
Yeah. Well, they have all these parking lots that are like far off too, because the whole parking lot is now part of the racetrack and the campus. So it's like you can't even go there. So I know it creates a little bit more to the commute, but maybe Ubering. Although I know it's hard to get out of there if you Uber. So I don't know. I'll figure out my plan.
You got it. All right, man. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _. Appreciate you, my brother. Have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. You too.
You got it. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, homeowner claim, condo defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom can help you out in so many different ways. And the consultation is completely free. 954-966-4646. They've been at this forever. They take on these big corporations. They can help you. They have cases where they have 180 defendants, which is amazing. 954-966-4646. Hour number 2 is next. Manny Navarro kicks it off.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Have you viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. We step into the world of big dreams, big moves, and big money. It's the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. After 40 years, the Big Cheese remains dedicated to serving the finest Italian dinners, pizza, pasta, subs, and salads. All of their pasta is imported from Italy and cooked fresh every day. Visit BigCheeseMiami.com. Now, let's find out who's the Big Cheese the Miami Hurricanes are working on with insider Manny Navarro.
Right. There we go. Bitcoin pumping, about to hit 98,000, and that's because Manny Navarro. We'll see if we hit 98. We need to hit 100, Manny. There's $2 billion of shorts that will get liquidated, and that goes right in, and that'll juice us to like 105, 106. So we're on the rebound, my brother. How you doing?
Doing great. Looking forward to a fun summer. My daughter wrapped up her soccer season last night, so hoping to hit the water a little bit more often now that it's getting hotter, brother.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Get that water, that beach water a little warmer, because damn, dude. you go like in March or April, and that shit is cold.
It's cold.
It really doesn't warm up to like early August or something, By then it's okay, it gets decent, It's still cold in June and July almost, man. All right, let's get rocking. Let's talk about the transfers. We had about like 6 of them. Your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I don't think they got any superstars per se, but they got guys that can help fill in and provide depth, which is kind of what they needed more than anything else. They picked up 2 receivers. One of them's an ex-BYU kid this is going to be 7th year of college football. He started 22 games in his career. Keelan Marion. We talked about how young the receiver room was. Only one legitimate starter that they picked up from LSU and CJ Daniels in December. And so they needed to add more experience. It was a very young room. They got Keelan Marion from BYU, and then they picked up Tony Johnson, a kid who played for FAU previously and spent last season at Cincinnati, 48 catches, close to 500 yards receiving and 6 touchdowns, 19 career starts. Look, none of these guys are going to be special. These aren't NFL guys, in my opinion. But in college football, you need experience in your receiver room. And Miami is talented, but really, really young. And you don't know what those guys are going to do in year number 1 when they get the opportunity to start, catching passes and being a part of this offense. So it was important to get Carson Beck, at least some guys who have played at this level. Marion and Johnson both played at the Power 4 level. CJ Daniels has played at the Power 4 level. And then now you got a really young receiver room behind them of guys that don't have to have the pressure on them to deliver. So I thought that was important. And then on the defensive side, they went out and they picked up a safety yesterday, a guy who, again, this isn't a superstar, but it's a guy who has experience. Jacoby Thomas spent last season at Tennessee, spent the majority of his career at Middle Tennessee State. Prior to that, he was a backup at Tennessee, played close to 300 snaps last year. But he's got 14 career starts under his belt at Middle Tennessee. So he's not a green player whatsoever, close to 1,500 career snaps. We talked about the safety position needing to bring in a body. No guarantee that Miami is going to land their number 1 target at safety. So Jacoby Thomas, I thought, was a nice plan B. And then at linebacker, Kamal Bonner, a kid who started 7 games last year at NC State, can come in and be your starting middle linebacker, replace Kiko Mauinoa. Again, not putting the pressure on, second-year guys that maybe aren't ready to be the starter yet. You can ease them in. Bonner is going to buy them some time.
By the way, a little lasagna, maybe a little sauteed chicken, a little fettuccine Alfredo, baked ziti, Parmesan. I mean, the options are endless at BigCheeseMiami.com. Go check it out. It's at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. It is an institution, folks. All right. It's been around for over 40 years. And, Billy and Gary started this with a vision, and, God bless Billy. We just lost him a few weeks ago, and Gary is obviously keeping it on. and keeping the tradition going. And if you're a fan, a lot of you are since you watch this segment, the walls at the Big Cheese are like a Hall of Fame. So make sure you check it out. 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. Tell them that Big O sent you. All right. Who else are the Hurricanes after, Manny?
Yeah, I think they're still trying to tinker with the defense. I think they're pretty much done with the offense now. One name I forgot to mention as far as pickups, Chamar Brown, a kid who comes over from North Dakota State. He'll be the number 3 running back, elite runner as a redshirt freshman last year, won the Jerry Rice Award given to the FCS Best Young Player. So he's another running back. But in terms of who they're still after, I think it's all defensive guys. AJ Halsey is a safety from Houston, led them with 7 interceptions last year. He's visiting LSU on Sunday. Big asking price. I think he wants close to $2 million to come play at Miami. I think the Hurricanes are kind of like, look, dude, we're not going to pay you $2 million. So see if anybody else honestly gives you what we're offering. So that's going on with him. And then there's a linebacker from Rutgers, Mohamed Toure. He didn't play last season, but was a starter in 2023. 93 tackles, 10 for loss, 5 sacks. A guy that I think obviously the new defensive coordinator here is familiar with, coached him at Rutgers previously, and then one other guy that they're still targeting, Colton Hood, a cornerback out of Colorado. They did lose a cornerback in the transfer portal in Emmanuel Carnley when he left Miami this spring after coming over from Arizona. So, again, just another piece to sort of replace a body. Again, none of these guys are superstars, but Halsey is the best one without question. I think he's the guy who comes in and makes an impact at safety, but the rest of them, everybody else we've talked about, the best players transfer in December. They don't transfer in the spring. If they're transferring in the spring, they're looking for more money, but they're not premier guys. And so to me, Halsey is the one guy I look at and say, okay, he's a big time difference maker. I think he would, be able to help them out.
All right. By the way, the draft, what'd you think of the Canes and where they went and where they landed and all that kind of stuff? What caught your eye out of all of that?
Well, I mean, look, Arroyo ended up going in the second round, right? We talked about that last Friday before it happened. You nailed that one. The third day you ended up getting 5 guys that got picked. I was a little surprised that one of them was Tyler Barron because he didn't necessarily have a great second half of the season last year for Miami. Damian Martinez.
Raw talent. Yeah. But I think they took him because they looked at him and they said, this kid's got God-given ability. Can we make him a consistent football player? That's what I think, because Tyler's got talent. You know what I'm saying? But you're right.
Yeah.
He didn't the second half.
No, he didn't. I was glad to see Borregales got picked as the best kicker in college football. I thought he was last year. He's a guy who I think is a bona fide pro kicker. And then Damian Martinez, obviously super talented running back. We talked about the huge value somebody was going to get because of how loaded the running back position was. I thought that was good to see as well. In the end, look, Jalen Rivers got picked. We talked about him being a legitimate NFL guy.
I was wrong. He got picked. I was wrong there. He got picked a lot later than I thought, bro. I thought he would pick a little bit earlier. What did he get picked? Like 6th round or something?
Fifth round. But again, he wasn't dominant. The thing with Jalen was he wasn't dominant. His gift is that he can play so many different positions for you, and he could start inside, outside, play center for you if needed. So in the end, he's a value pick in the 5th round for the Bengals. But look, 7 Hurricanes drafted. Was it Xavier Restrepo? We knew the moment he ran a 4.8 40 that was over, right? So I wasn't necessarily surprised by anything.
But I got to tell you something. If there's a place where he might have a chance to make a roster, Tennessee's the place because he knows the quarterback. The quarterback knows him. So that's going to be an advantage that for the bottom tier of the receivers that are fighting for those last spots, he's going to have an advantage over him. His real disadvantage in the NFL is that Xavier Restrepo cannot be used on special teams. He does not possess the skill for special teams. And if you're going to be, which is what he is in the NFL, a 5th receiver, a 6th receiver, dude, you have to be a stud special teamer. And that's going to be an issue for him where he probably could end up on the practice squad where they use him in a pinch in a week where they need a 4th receiver or something like that.
Right. No, and look, he's, to me, the thing about Xavier is he will play special teams, right? He will go down and be a flyer. He can catch punts. There's value to his game. Yes, he's not fast. We knew that. But he knows how to get open, and he knows how to work with Cam Ward. And that's the kind of guy, like you said, that can have a roster spot somewhere in the NFL, especially in Tennessee, because there's so much opportunity there.
Yeah. It's just he's got to make it as a receiver because his athleticism will not translate to special teams in the NFL, unfortunately. It's just you got to be a hell of a lot more athletic to be a flyer there, in the one more thing. What's the latest recruiting-wise?
Yeah, look, Miami, one of the guys that they were after on the offensive line, Kenya Pepe, the 5-star offensive tackle from IMG Academy, committed to USC recently. So people look at that maybe as a sign that Miami's maybe going all in on Jackson Cantwell, at least financially. I've told you guys months ago, he was represented by Drew Rosenhaus. We know Rosenhaus, his company loves to sign Hurricanes and represent Hurricanes. And so to me, I think he's asking for $2 million. I think Miami's going to pay it because they need a bona fide 5-star left tackle to come in and replace this unit next year. And he's the kind of guy who can come in here and start right away. Both of his parents were Olympians, by the way. This kid, Jackson Cantwell, out of Missouri. His dad won a silver medal in the 2008 Olympics. His mom qualified to the Sydney Olympics in 2020. So obviously comes from a strong gene pool and legitimate number one player in the country. And then, as far as other guys, look, we've entered May. So now we officially enter the month where guys start taking official visits at the end. The first recruiting weekend, it will be May 30th for Miami. They're going to have a ton of kids here, big time kids. And so, we can start looking forward to that here in the weeks ahead.
All right, good stuff. Follow him on Twitter, Manny_Navarro. And, of course, subscribe to The Athletic. We will catch you next week, my friend. Have a great weekend and enjoy yourself. Thank you, sir.
Same here, brother. Take care.
You got it. BigCheeseMiami.com, 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue for some delicious Italian food. And remember, the pasta is shipped directly from Italy and cooked fresh daily. That is awesome. BigCheeseMiami.com.
You've been listening to the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. At the Big Cheese Miami, they continue to purchase the same high-quality ingredients that the most expensive Italian restaurants use. The difference is they serve large portions at a family price. Visit the Big Cheese at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue in Miami. Call 305-662-6855 or go to thebigcheesemiami.com. Go Canes!
All right. Ty in the Bronx, thank you, sir. I appreciate the love on the super chat and the nice words there. Let's see. True Fin says, while Jalen Ramsey might seem to be a problem, he is or has been great at his point. Mike McDaniel has not. Yeah. You're right. He hasn't been the problem. He just looks at that coach and says, that's the problem. I don't want to play for that. And that's the problem with our team right now is that you just don't have the right coach in place. You know that? Let's see. Is that George Washington on Furones' wall? I didn't notice. Let me rewind. Yeah, dude, that is George Washington. Yep. He has a frame and George Washington and a horse. We definitely have to ask him about that next time. Did he not have a budget and he just ran into that frame? Did he buy the frame and it has just that picture as a fill-in until he can actually find a real picture? Because most of us aren't really purchasing a George Washington portrait for our room. There's a lot of questions I want to ask about that. I wish I would have noticed that during the interview, Chase. Could have had fun with that one. Anyway, trucking therapy. Wait until Tyreek is gone and Tua looks like a third string. Waddle isn't that guy. Trucking therapy, you know, the problem with fans like you is you guys don't know football. You still don't know football. None of you understand football. By the way, Tua didn't have Tyreek, and he still won more than he lost with a coach that hated him, with no offensive line and no running game. That was Flores. That was before Tyreek. And he still won more than he lost with no coaching, no offense, nothing. Still won more than he lost. Still threw more touchdowns than interceptions in a horrible situation. But see, the problem is trucking therapy. People like you that don't know football, when you draft a player like Drew Brees or a guy like Tua, you're supposed to build an offensive line and a running game. Because if you give him that and he's got play action, he's got a running game he can depend on, he will kill you no matter who the receivers are. It doesn't matter. You can have Phil Simms, but if you have the running game in the offensive line, you'll win with Ingram and McConkey. You know what I'm saying? I know that he's the greatest, you know, in this generation here, Mahomes, but he doesn't have great receivers. He has a great tight end, but he doesn't have great receivers, but he does have an offensive line and a running game, not this year, but normally that's when they win it all. So if you really want to build the team, it's not about having Tyreek or not having Tyreek. Trucking therapy, you're a dumbass. It's about having an offensive line and a running game. Okay? That's how you're going to have an offense. That's how you're going to protect any quarterback. And that's how you're going to get your offense going, no matter who the receivers are. See? But idiots like you think about the receiver and you think that that's all end all be all. It is because you got a terrible coach that doesn't understand, just like you, how to play the game of football, how to build a football team, how to build a successful football team. Do you think that Jalen Hurts can pass trucking therapy? No, Jalen Hurts got benched for Tua, you dumbass. But Jalen Hurts has something that Tua doesn't have. An offensive line, a running game, a dominant defensive line. He doesn't have any of that. He doesn't have the best running back in football. He doesn't have one of the two best offensive lines in football. He doesn't have the best defensive line in football. But if you give Tua or any other quarterback that, they would do a lot better trucking therapy. And it's not about the wide receiver, moron. The game is won inside out. But idiots like you think outside in. And idiots like you don't pay attention to the show. When we keep hammering away, you got to build the wall of Montezuma. I think, is that not the line that I've used for years now in front of Tua? Build the wall of Montezuma. That's what they had in Alabama. Because that's what you're supposed to do. Build a line in a running game. With play action, the kid will kill you. He led the league in accuracy, in completion percentage, trucking Henry. And of course, all of our quarterbacks since Marino, they've been in the MVP conversation and they've led the league in completion percentage. No, all of our quarterbacks, every one of them, they do all this. The things that Tua does under terrible conditions, all of our guys do this all the time. There's so many of you that you just don't understand football. You know nothing about football. You're just a fan and you repeat stupid shit that other people say. You watch the game half-ass and you don't learn a goddamn thing about the game. You don't learn a damn thing about the game. Pat Mahomes has lost 2 Super Bowls lately. Why did he lose those? It's not because whether he had a receiver or not. It's because he didn't have an offensive line. If you give him the offensive line, he fills the gap in those 2 Super Bowls, and he continues to win all the Super Bowls. They begged Dante Scarnecchia to come back out of retirement because the Patriots could not block for Tom Brady. Trucker or Jerry or what is it? Trucker therapy. Learn the goddamn game. The last time the Dolphins were good, Bob Greasy threw 6 passes in a Super Bowl. Trucking Jerry, you dumbass. And that's Paul Warfield on the field. A guy that Tyreek couldn't even hold his jock. Bro, I'm so tired of running circles and just crushing your ass because you don't know football. You just don't. But maybe you could, hang on to those other shows that they'll be nice to you. Oh, you just don't understand what's going on. We don't do that on this show. I'm not here about your feelings. You're a moron, dude. Learn football. Learn the game. So it's just, you open your mouth and it's just embarrassing, dude. It's embarrassing. It really is. Doom and gloom. I like that. You only extend character guys, not mercenaries. I like that line. That makes a lot of sense, too. Jesus, that makes a lot of sense. Brian Radke, the stud, is in the house. Jerry Lawyer says, Chase won. Tony's uncle used to go south. Boca, I don't know what that means, but Wood just committed to Tennessee. So they're sporting Wood in Tennessee. I like it. Just because O likes Greer does not justify keeping him. Greer has made mistakes like McDaniel. If they fail this season, they both need to go. Sorry. It's fine. Frankie, it's old. You've repeated that 1,000 times. We know you don't like Greer and McDaniel. That's fine. Big deal. That's nothing new. But you can keep repeating it over and over again. Let's see. I think in football should only keep good players for 6 years and then move on. Only players you keep are the quarterback and maybe O-line and D-line. You keep the studs, bro. You keep the studs, the people that are character, Dolphin Dave. They're not just players. Like Calais Campbell should never leave your franchise. That's all. The day you draft Calais Campbell, you're like, okay, this is Zach Thomas, and you're retiring here. And this is Jason Taylor, and you're retiring here. And this is Dan Marino, and you're retiring here. When you have the special guy, Richmond Webb, and all that, those are the guys you try to do your best to have them start and end your career here. When you have a Barkov, you start and end their career here. It's what you do, bro. It's what you do. We screwed up with Dwayne Wade. Totally. You got to let him finish the career here. And especially the whole Whiteside decision. You chose Whiteside over Wade. That was really bad. I understand the at that time, I even understood the hassle over the money that he wanted and you were offering and all that, but you cannot let him go no matter what. And you certainly don't let him go for Whiteside. Oh my God. The RPO is very annoying. McMillan is saying traditional play action has always been a better option for big plays. Unfortunately, our O-line and McDaniel was never built for explosive plays versus dominant. You got to block and you got to run the ball. You run the ball, linebackers can't get on their toes and just go at you. They got to stay back a little bit because they got to read and react. And in our offense, they don't have to read and react. They attack because there's nobody to block you, and the running game's not a threat. But when you make the running game a threat and they can block, that's something that other guy doesn't understand about football. He just thinks, oh, it's Tyreek. Moron. No. You got to do other things. Ian, the crypto market's about to explode. I'm thinking it might. Oh yeah, there's no doubt. Well, I don't know about the crypto market. I'm not exactly sure yet about to explode, but Bitcoin's about to explode because things are getting worse and worse with our economy, and so that will fuel Bitcoin even more. Not only will a good economy fuel Bitcoin, the next time we have a recession, or if we head into stagflation, which could be very, very possible right now, this time it's going to send Bitcoin to the heavens. The heavens. So it's coming. Be prepared. Those of you that are in, you are going to win. I'm not a financial advisor. Okay. Trench up. It's Tua time. Hulk Tua has arrived. Jonah. Well, at least that's one piece, but yeah, you still need another one or two. I would trade Ramsey to the Browns or Packers for a 7th rounder just out of spite. You can't just trade him because it's $21 million. They have to have the cap space, my brother. And, okay, you know what, doom, gloom? You led to what I want to talk about, which what you say makes no sense. Okay? All right, and let me explain why what you say makes no sense. You say, okay, and this is why I do my job, and you guys are fans, and that's cool. So you want to send him to the Packers. Well, I say no. Why? The Packers are trying to get rid of a guy named Jair Alexander. He has $37 million left in 2 years on his contract. Do you think they're going to absorb $21 million? They don't even want to pay guys. They're not like big players in free agency, the Packers usually. They draft and pay from within. Jalen Ramsey's not from within. So, one, that's not their normal history. Okay, so that's why you're wrong, doom, gloom. Two, they're in the process of trying to trade Jair Alexander. Now, the problem is, and they want to trade him, but he's only played 34 games in the last 4 years due to injuries. Jair wants to be released. They want to try to trade him. They really don't want to take the cap hit if they release him. So either they release him, they trade him, or they keep him on the roster. And the reason why I mention this, and it's something I mention because the Miami Dolphins should come into play here. Not to trade for him because you don't want to pick up a $37 million salary for the next 2 years. But if you're the Miami Dolphins, you must keep abreast of this situation because Jair can play. Now, he's had injury history. You're not going to have to pay a lot of money anyways to get him because it's late in the offseason. So if they release him, this is why they're not going to take Jalen Ramsey. They already drafted a guy. They're prepared for the absence of Jair Alexander already. So they don't need Jalen Ramsey doom gloom. Okay? But, we are prepared on this show. You just kind of throw some stuff out of your ass. It's not going to work that way. So I'm just saying, as a Dolphins fan, this is an option that could materialize. Okay? Don't complain that the guy's an often injured player. At this point, beggars cannot be choosy. So keep an eye on the Jair Alexander situation because Green Bay is not going to be able to trade him. He doesn't play enough games to justify the money. Nobody's going to pay it. Green Bay either eats the salary and play and keeps him on the roster and he doesn't do anything, okay? Because they probably don't want to risk playing him because then he gets injured again and maybe they could get out of the deal down the line. Or he becomes a post-June 1 cut where they take less of a cap hit and he becomes available where Miami then moves Jalen Ramsey, a spot becomes available, and now you're able to sign Jair Alexander. I'm just saying. And he can play, but you just got to hope that he can stay healthy. So for those of you worried about a cornerback situation, this is the cornerback situation, one of them that you want to look at because you don't have a lot of great options in the offseason. You can go get Rasul Butler. You can go get a couple of other guys, that are free agents. All right. But Jair Alexander is another one. And something tells me June 1st, in a month, we might have a little bit more of a clarification on this situation. All right, let's see what else do we have. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate the love. D. Mao, oh, you've been through the good and bad times with the Finns. I don't get how everyone was so in belief that they were Super Bowl contenders when Mike was hired. We need to learn how to wait and see instead. But we're so desperate. We're so dying to win that we latch on to any modicum of success or hope, dude. That's just who we are because we've suffered for so long, you know? And I don't think that'll change. We will overreact on any kind of little success because we're dying to win, dude. We love our Dolphins. And all they do is put us through the mud and make us suffer. And it doesn't matter who's there, you know? So it's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard. Don't miss my super chat. Oh, I'm sorry, Corso. Rocky Mountain Oysters, anyone? Thank you, sir. Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers, you got to survive a night with one hunting you. Oh, you're not going to ask me the silly gorilla question, Gorilla and 100 Men? Which don't. I'm not doing that. Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers? Which is Voorhees? I'm drawing a blank at the moment. I know who Michael Myers is. Which is Jason Voorhees? I'm drawing a blank now.
Isn't that Friday the 13th?
Oh, Jason. That's his last name. Oh, okay. Picking up the recyclables right now. I can hear it. Let's see. I got to really think about this, where I can get an advantage. Well, not that I really have an advantage. I'm going to go Michael. Why? Michael was slow. He was methodical and he was slow. Jason had some ability to his ass. He could swim, climb on cars, do all kinds of shit, athletic stuff. I don't trust that son of a bitch. But Michael was kind of slow. So I figure if I can run, get in a car, I can get away, don't drive to Haddonfield, I'll be fine. So I'm going to go Michael because he was just slow. He was so slow, a fat old man put a hanger in his eye. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to try to outrun the slow guy. The fat guy is going to outrun the slow guy. I can't beat either one of them physically. So I got to figure I got to outrun them and don't go to Haddonfield. That's it, right? That's the key. Outrun, just don't go to Haddonfield. Go to any other town, but not Haddonfield. Or a hospital. Or a school. Don't hide in any of those places either. So that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. By the way, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum, Chainlink, and Solana donation, which we always appreciate that. As always, of course, you can send in super chats like some of our listeners already have today, and we appreciate them immensely. But stinking YouTube takes 30%. So, and then, of course, we've got our trip to Spain. All right. Who knows? Will the mayor of Madrid be right? Is it the Bengals? Others say it's Washington. I don't know who's it going to be. But it's probably going to be the one special event for the Dolphins this year. We want to be there covering it all week, doing our show all week long, and do our pre- and post-game show from there. So, if you can make a donation, there is the QR code. I know a lot of you have been donating through Cash App or PayPal or Venmo, you'll say, hey, it's for the trip. And you'll send me, a donation, and thank you. Thank you to all of everybody, the generous donations. Thank you. Ray had a very generous donation. What's it called? Ho Yoon makes a very generous donation every week. So thank you all out there. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll get to our target number, because it is not cheap to do this trip, man. So appreciate all of you out there, however you can help us. Thank you. And don't forget to visit our amazing sponsors. What else do we have? And by the way, going off of the comment from the gentleman that says that we get too excited. I forgot which one said that. Here we go. D Mao. I was thinking about this, and it's interesting how sometimes you guys trigger things that I want to talk about, and I have it here. That our approach this season with the doubts that exist, whether you want to ask, do you really think the offensive line for sure is going to be great? Does it have the depth? Are you convinced that the running game will be good, and will the coach stick with it? Can the coach coach? Can he win challenges? Can he get a play in on time? Will Tua not put his body at risk doing stupid shit? Is the defense and is the secondary going to be good enough? I mean, there's tons of questions to have doubt, right? And so I was making these notes. So you have all of that, right? So let's now work ourselves up, which is kind of what goes off D-Mount. Why? Because we constantly hurt ourselves. And it's funny because the proof is there. We constantly build ourselves up, and we constantly disappoint ourselves. And D-Mao is right. I made this note about how we should approach this season with a lot of doubt. We love them. We hope for the best. Of course, we're going to be rooting for them to win every damn game, go 17-0. But we got to check that at the door and say, none of that is possible until they prove it. The only thing possible is what you've done for the last 30, 40 years. Disappointment. And that's what you kind of should expect until it's proven otherwise. Until it's proven that they've got a hell of an offensive line and a hell of a defensive line and a running game and a smart coach and a quarterback that won't put himself at risk injury-wise. Okay, once all of that is proven, then I think we can get excited. But if none of that is proven, D-Mao is right. Working ourselves up for this stuff, it just makes no sense whatsoever. It makes no sense to have enthusiasm for the Dolphins because there's nothing to be enthusiastic about. You can be enthusiastic about the Panthers. And I was enthusiastic about the upcoming season like you were. And we were enthusiastic, at least some of us were, about the upcoming season last year, coming off the disappointing loss of the Stanley Cup that year. And they went on to win the Stanley Cup. And then this year, now they're trying to defend it. Well, that's earned. But before that, how were we with the Panthers? We're expecting disappointment. It's interesting how we're programmed for one team to expect disappointment, but we don't program ourselves to expect disappointment for the Dolphins. The second they show us any kind of just an inkling of success in anything, we take it to the extreme. I'm included too. I'm guilty also. I'm guilty just like everybody is. We all do it. None of us are perfect. Every one of us commits the same damn crime.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
So it's probably what we're better off this year. We're better off expecting the worst, hoping for the best. That should be the motto for the 2025 Miami Dolphins season. I'm with you there. Let's see. Big O, I sure miss the days of Greasy Warfield and having a feared running game and with the big three while being able to stop other teams' offenses. Oh, you mean like the last time the Dolphins were like the Panthers? Yeah. Yep. Tough on both sides. R.I.P. Ruth Buzzy. Wow. How old was Ruth Buzzy? I did not know Ruth Buzzy was still with us. We just lost Mike Peters from the alarm. Happened a couple of days ago. I saw a Richard Blade from Sirius and the New Wave channel, all that. And he tweeted out about Mike Peters because he had a long bout with cancer and unfortunately succumbed to it, that damn cancer we can't solve. And I saw that Mike Peters from the alarm passed away, and that sucked. And I had no idea that Ruth Buzzy was still alive, dude.
She was 88.
88. Wow. God bless her. She lived a long time. That is awesome. She got to 88. Bless her, man. What else do we have? Tyreek Stevenson for Ramsey. Dude, I don't know about fantasy trades or whatever. We'll see what happens. Big O, for what it's worth, El Clásico is this weekend a la Madrid.
It's actually next weekend.
Oh, it's next weekend. Okay, there you go.
May 11th, I believe. It's on Mother's Day.
Big O, who's your favorite pick from the Dolphins the past 2 years in the draft? Also, please, no injury-prone players for corners. Get a healthy free. Dude, at this point, I just told you, beggars can't be choosy. You cannot be choosy. And Jair can play. Like, if he's healthy, you will get like a legit starting corner. That's the cool. They don't exist right now. You're going to get like an old guy, a guy that's kind of run down or whatever. Jair is still young enough that if somehow or another he can stay healthy, you'll get a lot of mileage out of it. You know what I'm saying? Again, beggars cannot be choosy. Just the way it is, you know? My favorite draft pick of like this draft and last draft, or the last two drafts? That's because I guess, you know what? I'm going to go with the two drafts before this one. Let me look at all the names to make sure. You know why I'm going to do it that way? Because this allows me to then measure the players that I actually have seen in a Dolphin uniform for the last 2 years. Here, let me pull it up right now. Wow, it's a short. So it's Cam Smith, Achane, Higgins, Hayes, Tyndall, Ezukama, Goods, Skyler. Dude, there's only one guy. That's it. It's Achane. That's all. There's nothing else out of those drafts. Absolutely nothing. The 22 was a 3rd, 4th, and 2 7ths. And Ezukama's been injury prone and inconsistent. And Tyndall hasn't worked out, changing of coaches. Kid can't find a spot. Plus, he hasn't proven to be anything but a special teamer. Cam Smith hasn't done jack. Achane's been a monster. Higgins is playing for somebody else. I think Hayes is like still on the practice squad or something like that. I want to say he's still floating around or something like that. I think they brought him back at the end of last year or something, if I remember correctly. But yeah, not a lot. Those 2 years have not been fruitful, as they say. What else do we have? Corso says, I'm going Jason. Michael is slow, but has like teleport abilities. It is kind of true. AP says, Big O, 52 years without a Super Bowl. Do you think the city life here? No, stop with that. Bro, who are you listening to? Omar Kelly? I went through this yesterday on Twitter. Okay. Here. Let me give you the answer. Okay. Somebody asked me this yesterday on Twitter, or they made the same suggestion, and I absolutely sliced them apart because it's ridiculous. Okay. But I'll show you the tweet. What the hell? Just because. Here it is. Let's pull up le tweet. All right, pull down the billboard, sir. Here we go. So the guy says, in this city, athletes come to Miami to party, get hurt, play their worst ball against the best teams, and party some more. This is some Bushido Brown, some moron. He still didn't get it after I gave him all the facts, and I hope you're not that stupid either, sir. This is complete bullshit. Panthers are winning 6 straight years playoffs. They're trying to get to the Stanley Cup 3 straight years and trying to win it 2 straight years. The Heat has been a winner for 25 years under Riley. I don't know. What is it, like 6 trips to the finals? 3 titles? How many conference finals? How many playoff trips? Plenty. South Beach is right there. Larinaga. UM basketball had a ton of success under him. Ron Frazier, Jim Morris, both baseball coaches won. Shula won back in the day. Marlins under Huizinga. They built both championship teams. They won 97, and the 98 fire sale was practically 90% of the players that won 2003. So when you run well, Nova Southeastern, they've won 2 national titles. It ends with you win if you're run right. Too many excuses. The Dolphins have not been run right. Have not run the right way for 40 years. They don't build an offensive line. They don't build a running game, and they don't build a dominant defense. And that's why Marino and all the way to Tua, none of them will ever win anything significant. It's pretty simple, dude. Pretty simple. That's why Marino embarrassed himself in the 1 Super Bowl he was in. Is it his fault? Not 1 ounce of it. It was all Shula. He never built a team that was a champion. Everything went his way, got a hot hand and got there, and then when push came to shove, you saw what a real Super Bowl team looks like. Not the crap we put out on the field. Nothing's changed, dude. Okay? The incompetence is what doesn't get you anywhere and you don't win. But this whole thing, and I've been told over and over again, it was Omar that said it from many people. So, you know, when one person tells me I can't really, but a lot of, oh no, that's what Omar's been saying. And well, okay, I love you, Omar, but you're full of shit. You're full of shit. It's ridiculous. Like it's staring you in the face that everybody else is winning in town. What, the Marlins don't win now? Why? Because South Beach is down the street? No, because they don't spend any money. And they don't care about winning. That's why they don't win. The Dolphins, since Shula till now, they never make the right moves. They never can put a team together. That's why they don't win, dude. They won in the 70s because Shula had personnel people that put the team together the right way. Shula sucked at personnel, dude. Let's just be honest. I mean, that was, for those of you that are too young, us old guys, Shula, the general manager, is stopping Shula, the head coach. That was our line. Once he lost Thomas and Young and Beathard, the people that actually made the picks, Shula was never the same again. It was one bad, terrible joker move after another. Terrible draft picks, terrible trades. Shula made every wrong move, dude. It was a clown show. He was a great coach still. He would make the best out of the shit that he created, but it was still a clown show when it came to personnel under Shula. And the formula he had in the 70s, he never used it again. Yeah, we don't need a dominant offensive line or running game. We'll win without it. No, you won't. So those of you have got to stop with that, bro. There's winning going on all over. Either you're run the right way or you're not. That's all. And they don't win because they're not run the right way for 40 years. 40 years. It's just too many of you have selective memories. So then you hear an Omar Kelly say, "Oh no, it's the nightlife here. That's why they don't win." You don't think for yourselves, and you just repeat the same stupid shit that was said by a writer. And I love Omar to death, but I would tell him right to his face, or anybody else that says that's stupid. That's ridiculous. There's winning going on all over the damn town. So now we're going to make it's like the whole thing with the Dolphins. Oh, they built the stadium on the Indian grounds. Really? Well, the Marlins won 2 championships there. The Canes and Dolphins don't win because they don't build the teams like they used to build them. That's all. It's pretty simple, dude. It's not. It's simple math, actually. It's not the nightlife. It's not the Indian burial ground. I mean, it's just people come up with stupid shit, bro. Stupid shit. Were you trying to make yourself feel better or something? No. We love our team. They're incompetent, and they don't know how to build a championship team. End of story. That's all. Anyway. Let's see. What else do we have? I'm going Jason. Michael is slow. Oh, I got that one already. What else do we have here? I have learned to have low expectations every year. It's better to be surprised than disappointed. That's the way I'm going this year. I have 0 positives, and if they surprise me, then I'll be super happy. And if they disappoint me, it's exactly what I expected. Kind of like the Marlins. I don't even pay attention to them. Why? Because I know they're going to be shit. Why am I going to, whatever. I see people try to build themselves up every year when they make changes or whatever, and it's like, do you see what's going on? Come on, dude. Why? Because they won 3 of the first 4 against the Pirates in the first series? Let's get excited. Go look at the run differential. You'll see how the record ends. All you got to do is look at the run differential. It will only head in one way. But hey, man, whatever. Jason could shoot an arrow too. That's next level. Yeah, bro. I'm going Michael. Michael is slow. I can outrun his ass. And I'm not going to Haddonfield. Everybody goes back to Haddonfield. Really? Like it's there, Haddonfield. Like why? It's like North Perry Airport. You don't fly out of North Perry Airport here in South Florida. For those of you that don't know, you haven't realized, you didn't pick up on it. I have, since I'm born and raised in this town. Check out the plane crashes in town from all the airports here in South Florida. Check out which airport leads in plane crashes. North Perry Airport. I will not buy a house near the North Perry Airport. But I've said that for many years now, for decades. And 2, there's no way in hell you're ever going to catch me trying to fly out of North Perry Airport ever. So there are things you don't do. You don't go to Haddonfield, and you don't fly out of North Perry Airport. And you don't buy a home next to North Perry Airport. It's pretty simple. These are like rules of life that I have, that I've lived by forever. There's a couple of people that will watch or listen to this segment, and they'll go, he's right. I never realized that. A shit ton of planes crashed from North Perry. Damn. And then there's some people that maybe might listen or watch that might live by North Perry, and they're going, yeah, dude, oh my God, it's so true. Just saying. But most people don't really think about that. But North Perry, I don't know what happened there, bro. You want some voodoo? It ain't happening over on at Hard Rock Stadium in the Indio Burial Ground. I don't know, but something's happened at North Perry. Anyway, the Beatles, the GOAT, Bosom says. And if I like the Beatles, what song do I like? Oh, God, man. So many. I'm trying to think of what would be my favorite song of the Beatles. Because it's just like from Hey Jude to Get Back to Back in the USSR, or, I mean, it's just Helter Skelter. I don't know if I have, do I really have even I don't think I have a favorite Beatles song. I can just jam the Beatles at any time, and Paperback Writer. I mean, I don't know. It's just Penny Lane. God, no, dude. There's just so many, and the variety of the music. Yellow Submarine. No, I don't think I have a favorite. I don't think I have a favorite Beatles song. Now that I think about it, and I think almost every band I have a favorite song or two that are like, oh my God, I got to hear this song. No, man. I have a lot of love for the Beatles catalog overall. So I don't know. Maybe I got to think more about that and see if there's this one song. I Saw Her Standing There I love that song. Love that song. That's tough. That's tough. Bring back the original logo. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But the owner loves his little whale. Last I checked, Los Angeles has won a few championships. Of course, dude. Please. The Vegas Aces just won championships too. The ladies won there. You'll win in Vegas. You'll win in New York. You'll win in Los Angeles. You'll win in Miami. Nightlife is everywhere. Poontang is dude, the Cowboys were winning and they had the White House. Okay, tell Omar Kelly and everybody else. The Cowboys were winning and they had the White House. And if you don't know what the White House is in the mid-90s, go ahead and look it up. Go get yourself educated. Come on, man. I mean, you either got it or you don't, and you're either coached well or you're not. You know, New York can get you in as much trouble as Miami every day of the week and twice on Sundays. And the Giants have won championships, and the Yankees have won championships. You know, so it's just ridiculous. The Knicks don't win because they don't know how to win. They haven't figured it out. I know they're a little better now, but just in general. Oh, the Knicks aren't winning because it's too much of a party town. The hell out of here, bro. Come on. Every team can have success in any environment that's out there. Do you have professionals playing for you that actually care, that are focused on their jobs? They know how to compartmentalize. There's a time and a place for everything. Real pros know this. So they know, hey, man, there's a time and a place. When we're done, we'll go hit Bourbon Street and have some fun. Because you can have fun in New Orleans. You can have fun in Dallas. You can have a lot of fun in New York, Chicago, LA. It's not just Miami. Atlanta. Atlanta's a great party town. You can get in so much trouble in Buckhead. Come on, man. That's just some stupid, lazy thing that people throw out there. And then some of you hook, line, and sinker follow that shit. I mean, come on, man. Some of you got to start thinking for yourselves. Everything that's written and said is not law. It's not fact. Just because a writer writes it or some guy on TV says it, you might want to think on your own about it. You might want to look it up. You might want to do some things. So, like that one gentleman, oh, no, we'll trade him to one team or Green Bay, right? And he might have heard it from somebody else, some YouTuber, some writer, and then they really didn't look at what the situation is with those teams. That, no, you're not trading him to Green Bay because they have their own issues right now. They already have a guy they're trying to get rid of, and they've already replaced him from within. They have his replacement. So it's like, but you throw that out there, and this happens a ton, unfortunately. Let's see. Lenny says, I'm already mentally prepared for a mediocre season with our Dolphins. It's best that way. Better to be surprised. I'm looking forward to our pass rush. At least that'll be fun to watch. I agree. If our guys stay healthy, the middle and the outsides. Okay? Because I love our first round pick, dude. I think that kid's going to be fantastic for the Dolphins. And with him and Sealer in there and the outside pass rushers, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm with you there. I like it a lot. That'll be fun. And they're going to need to be so good at getting to the rusher because they're not going to have a great secondary. So they can't leave them out, leave them hanging out to dry there too long. That'll be the challenge for that defense this year. Mike Myers is not confined to Haddonfield. He just frequents the town. If he wants you, he will get you. He doesn't need the run. Unfortunately, you are toast. Give me Voorhees. I'm outrunning Michael. Sorry. I'm not toast. I'll take a plane, bitch. Get the hell out of there. Okay? I'll be in Panama. You won't find me in Panama. Haddonfield, that bitch can't get on a plane. He can't go to the counter and buy a ticket. It's not like the plane's going to take off if he approaches the gate. So I'm safe, dude. Safe. I'm in Panama, relaxing, checking out the West Coast and the sun setting. It's a beautiful thing. Love it. Won't catch me. Brett Dodger says the entire one side of Abbey Road is my favorite Beatles song. Yeah, it's just no, I cannot pick just one Beatles song. Yeah. Favorite Beatles album? Either White Album or Meet the Beatles. Let me look at it again. Look at the albums. Let me see. I need to look at the albums. That's what I need to do. Let me look at the albums and the songs so I can make an educated response to that. Favorite album, I might be able to come up with that. That might be a deal there. Let's see here. Here we go. Where are we at here? This is bad to do it live. Yeah, this is hard. I'm looking at Please Please Me with the Beatles. Beatles for Sale. Hard Day's Night. Oh, man. Oh, shoot. Revolver. Isn't that like an excellent album? I said, what album isn't excellent? Oh, God. Taxman. Eleanor Rigby. Are you kidding me? Little Submarine. Good Day Sunshine. Your Bird Can Sing. Dr. Robert. Got to Get You Into My Life. Yes, I don't know. You know what? Now I'm thinking about it. I don't know if I can Rubber Soul. I don't know if I can pick a favorite Beatles album too now. Drive My Car, Norwegian Wood, Nowhere Man, Michelle, Think for Yourself. Man, I just, I don't know, man. It's going to be hard to pick like one album with the Beatles, which I think is one I was thinking of. It Won't Be Long, All My Lovin', Little Child, Please Mr. Postman, Roll Over Beethoven, Hold Me Tight. Oh man, I Want to Be Your Man. No, I don't know if I can pick a favorite album. I'm a big Beatles fan, and I don't know, dude. They might be, it might be very Led Zeppelin-ish, except for Coda. Like most of the albums are phenomenal. So I don't know. I need to really study it again and look at it and say which one I would go with. Ocala says my favorite Beatles song is Twist and Shout. I mean, it's hard, man. It's hard to just pick one song. True Fin Fan says Panama relaxing, till you order a drink and he serves it to you. Oh, it'll be relaxing because I'll be serving my own drink with my own crib, looking out into the ocean, elevated from a mountain. It's a beautiful thing, you know. Mornings, just drive down the mountain, go hang out on the beach a little bit with the wife. A good time in the evening, count the stars. My wife loves to look at the stars. And I told her soon we'll take you to some places where they have no light at night and you can see all the stars at night, because that is actually something that we're all cheated from pretty much living in big cities. We don't really get to see the skyline the way you're supposed to see it. You know what I'm saying? But you go to some of these places that you're a little bit more, you know, isolated and not all those lights. It's a pretty cool thing. Very cool thing. Big O, Yellow Submarine has to be your favorite because every Dolphin season brings on that sinking feeling. Yeah. We all live. When I was in the Falcons, which was Carreño, I think was his name, was our coach and the lead guy or whatever. And it was football and baseball with the Falcons. I don't know if anybody knows about the Falcons. And we would travel. We were travel teams too. And we would go to different cities in the state, upstate, and play games. And we would also go to Disney World once a year. But when we were in the bus, Carreño always jammed music. And when the Beatles' Yellow Submarine would come on, we would all sing, "We all live in a yellow Falcon bus, a yellow Falcon bus, a yellow Falcon bus. Anyway, so that was our thing, Little Leaguers. Anybody, I don't know if anybody knows anything like that, or Falcons. We used to practice, I remember in a couple places. In summertime, we were in Curtis Park. And then weekdays during the season, we would practice right next to Pan American Hospital, right next to that shopping center that's on 57th and 7th. There was a church right next to it, and then this big piece of land. There was nothing. Obviously, it's all constructed now. But in those days, it was just a big, giant piece of land, and it was part of the church. And obviously he must have had some deal with them, and we would practice there. You would pull the bus up and we would practice there. So every time I think about Yellow Submarine, I always think about being a kid and playing for the Falcons, and we're all chanting that song. So that brings back good memories back in the day. My favorite horror movie? Probably I got to go with Exorcist. That probably is my favorite movie of all time. That would probably be the one. I do love the Friday the 13th and Halloween's, the early ones. What else? Corso, thank you again for the love. Don't forget you can send in your donations also on Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation too. Corso is asking me, Frenchie, Rizzo, or Marty of the Pink Ladies? Oh, Marty by miles. Marty is the most underrated Pink Lady. Rizzo was not hot. Neither was Frenchie. But Marty was, I know Olivia, is the prettiest out of the two Greases, right? And then Michelle's probably second or first, however you want to look at it. But Marty is the finest one of them all, dude. Okay? She's the one with all the pen pals. And she's the one that the guy that's hosting the whole thing, and he's digging her. Marty is the underrated babe of the Pink Ladies and in Grease. She's fine, bro. She's got a body. Like way better body than Olivia Newton-John. Olivia was a stick figure. You know, she had a little curves to her, but she was a stick figure compared to Marty was us Latin guys, we like women that are, they're full. And she wasn't like thick or fat or anything like that. She was just like, she was curvy and had some meat. So you guys can go back now and check out the movie and say, was she really underrated? And then you need to go check out the movie and go look well at the Marty parts. And you're going to go, underrated. She was the real hottie in Grease, actually. Okay. Olivia, obviously, her face is magical. Gorgeous. That's where she tops everybody. But Marty, neck down, smoke show. Let's see. And Corso has chills, and they're multiplying. We would drive an hour north of Toronto just to really see the stars. Agree, says Brett. Yeah. Yep. I can't wait to have a crib where every night I can just look out and enjoy myself. So, let's see. Ragin says, I have about 80 favorite Beatles songs. When you're great, man. And yeah, it's hard for me to just say one over the other. It's just so many good ones. Big O, cool place on Plantation Key called Marker 88. It faces the Bayside, great sunsets, and the wife can see the stars like diamonds. Really? Oh, shit. Hold on a second, dude. Maybe I'll take her tomorrow. What's it called again? Marker 88. Okay. Don't tell me it's on mile marker 88. All right. I don't mind driving to the Keys. I did that, was it last weekend, the weekend before? Went down. Always love to do that. And so maybe I'll take her a little later in the afternoon, closer to the evening, and take her down there and have a little dinner and go check it out. Yeah, you're right. Actually, I'm going to have a better shot in the Keys anyways than I would here in the city. So that's a great call on your part. But if if I can get the sunset and then the stars, whoo, doggy, I'm in. Wife will love life. It's beautiful. That's it. It's all you. Once you get a smile on her face, then you scored, bro. You're like, okay, I'm good for about a week. Anyway, let's see what else do we have. Poltergeist was another horror classic, yes? My favorite all-time comedy movie. God. Animal House, Old School. Trying to remember. I do love Old School. Trying to remember some old ones. Easy Money probably is still kind of funny, I bet. That was a funny movie. Friday. Shit, that's hilarious. Airplane. Love it. I don't know if it holds up still, but those were some of my favorites. AP says St. Dominique's on 57th and 7th. Sit on the empty lot. Played for years in Curtis Park as a general from Miami Jackson, sir. There you go. That's what it was called. St. Dominique's, 57th and 7th. That was the name of the church. Thank you, AP. I did not know that. Okay. Yep. Monty Python. Oh my God, Monty Python, The Holy Grail, and Life of Brian. Holy Grail was a little funnier than Life of Brian. Life of Brian was pretty good, but Holy Grail, dude, that is Blazing Saddles. It's another one that's phenomenal. Young Frankenstein. Oh, I don't know. It's tough. Place is called Marker 88. Just make sure it's a clear night and time the sunset. Yes, definitely will time the sunset for sure. Ace Ventura. Yeah, that was definitely a good one. Definitely. Bachelor Party. That was very good. Rest in peace, Tawny Katane. What do we have tonight? We got Rockets and Warriors. Warriors favored by 5. We'll see if Butler and the boys can advance. Golden State leads 3-2. Let me get to musicians' birthdays today. Let's do a little bit of that. We always love doing that. Let's get to it. Here we go. All right. We start off with musicians born on May 2nd. Ben Leach from The Farm. All Together Now. Born in 1969. Let's see. Alanis Johannes. Multi-instrumentalist, producer, and vocalist who has worked with Queens of Stone Age, Them Crooked Vultures, and Arctic Monkeys. Let's see who else is celebrating a birthday. Prescott Niles, bassist with the Knack. My Sharona, born in 1954. John Kalis, synthesizer keyboardist with the Human League, born in 1951. Lou Gramm, the great voice of Foreigner, born in 1950. Bob Henrit, drummer with the rock band Argent. Randy Kane, singer with the Delphonics. Let's see. In 1945, by the way, if I did not mention it. Goldie McJohn from Steppenwolf, born in 45. Engelbert Humperdinck, born in 36 on this date. That is musicians born on this date. Let's go with other famous people born on this date. Bianca Jagger, born in 45. She is 80 today. Bianca Jagger she's the one in Cannonball Run when they stopped the Lamborghini and Adrienne Barbeau is there and she lowers her, her thing, because Adrienne Barbeau was absolutely gifted in the chest. And the woman that's next to her is Bianca Jagger, actually. So I don't know if you knew that. Some of you probably knew that. Some of you didn't know that. Now you can go back and look and, oh, that's Bianca Jagger. Didn't realize that. Let's see who else is celebrating birthdays today. Larry Gatlin, musician, born in 48. He's 77. Fashion designer Donatella Versace, born in 55. She is 70. Political commentator Micah Brzezinski, born in 67. He's 58. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, born in 72. He's 53 today. David Beckham is 50 years old. Jeff Gutt from Stone Temple Pilots, born in 76, is 49. Actor Kumail Nanjiani, born in 78. He's 47. Big Bang Theory. Ellie Kemper, born in 80. She's 45, the actor. Kyle Busch, NASCAR driver, born in 85. He's 40. Let's see. Comedian and actor Molly Kearney, born in 92. She's 33. And that is famous people born on this date. Sean Stanley, do you have wrestlers born on this date?
We do. Barrett Brown turns 31. The Big Boss Man was born in 1963. Sadly, we lost him in 2016. Kalen Croft turns 45. Derek Sanders, 47. Pat McAfee turns 38. And the aforementioned The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is 53 on May 2nd, 2025.
All right, let's get to a little music history. In May 2nd, what happened today in music history? We start off in 72 with Bruce Springsteen. He auditioned for CBS Records A&R man John Hammond, playing a short set for him in his office. Hammond was so impressed that he arranged a real audition that night at New York City's The Gaslight Club, where the boss performed for other Columbia executives. He did pretty well. He's done pretty well since then. In 2013, Slayer guitarist Jeff Hanneman died of liver failure. He was 49. In 2005, Eric Clapton, Ginger Baker, and Jack Bruce reunited as Cream to perform their first of 4 shows at London's Royal Albert Hall 36 years after they split up. In 91, Nirvana booked into Sound City Studios in Van Nuys, California, where they spent 16 days working with producer Butch Vig. The recordings they made would go on to become their hit album, Nevermind. And by the way, a little side note, there's a documentary called Sound City Studios where Nirvana recorded Nevermind. Dave Grohl was the guy that was the head of that documentary, and he ended up buying the soundboard of that studio. That studio no longer exists. But the history of that studio, the amount of bands that recorded, and we're talking about like historical albums and music that were recorded by bands there. If you, I think it's on YouTube or on Netflix or Prime or whatever, but it's called Sound City Studios. I think it's called exactly that. It's a great documentary. If you love music, if you love the history of music and all of that, Dave Grohl is fantastic. There's a lot of artists that are involved in it, but it's really educational and really cool. So check it out. Just a suggestion out there. 79, The Who played their first gig since the death of Keith Moon. It took place at London's Rainbow Theatre and saw the faces, Kenny Jones behind the kit. The same night, the band's film Quadrophenia opened up in London. In 2003, the Kings of Leon played their first ever British date when they appeared at Blackpool's, England, the Emperor's Ballroom. In 77, on this date, Eric Clapton recorded Wonderful Tonight. In 2006, Keith Richards was released from a New Zealand hospital after being treated for a mild concussion following a fall out of a coconut tree in Fiji. Keith Richards, how high must you be to be on a coconut tree? Really high. Really high. Did you see that Pirates fan, Sean? God, that was terrible, dude. That was very sad. gentleman by the name of Kavan Markward. He was a former college football player. It was an ugly fall, man, 21 feet, and he's in critical condition. But it's just the way he felt. He had like no control, no way of, bracing for it or anything like that, which he still would have gotten hurt. But the way he fell, who knows what he landed on and what, but the poor man, God. Yeah, that when they showed the fall, it was like, oh, God, you cringe. And it was the highest point of that wall, and they were quick to say, hey, the rail there is, it's like 6 inches over the required, all that. So they came out right away to defend themselves. So listen, any crazy shit can happen to any of us, man. Any of us. I mean, this just recently, for me personally, I never expected to fall in the middle of the night, and and anything like that can just change your life, dude. It's crazy. Absolutely nuts. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, but the Pacers, by the way, nice job by them. They are going to keep John Halliburton away from Pacers games. So I like that after his disrespectful exchange with Giannis. And my favorite part of it is Tyrese, his son. I don't agree with what transpired there from him. Basketball is basketball, and let's keep it on the court. I think he just got excited, saw his son make a game winner, and came on the court. But we had a conversation. He needs to just allow me to play basketball and stay over there. I'll come to him to celebrate, but the emotions of the game got excited there. I talked with him. I talked with Giannis. I don't think my pops was in the right at all. At all there. So great job, because we have the ignorant people out there that want to defend their family members or their loved ones just because it's their family members and their loved ones. We can love them. We can forgive them. We can support them, but we must be honest. And when you screw up, you screwed up. And it doesn't matter if it's your dad. You got to admit. And you got to be the adult here. Which he's an adult anyway, but like I'm saying, you would figure the father would be more of the adult in this situation, and it's Tyrese Halliburton, the one that actually is acting more like the adult here, and the poor kid's embarrassed because his father acted like a complete jackass. So, Sean, did you see the problems that Steve Smith is in? I don't know how many men get sued for being a homewrecker. But that's exactly what's going on with Steve Smith. He has now been sued over an alleged affair with a married man's wife. Smith was called out in February by a man named Tony Martinez, who posted evidence of the affair online. The evidence included a phone call Martinez had with Smith, who said sorry to the man after having the affair with Martinez's wife. Martinez also posted screenshots of the sexual text messages conversations Smith had with his wife. And according to the published story here, Martinez filed a lawsuit in Mecklenburg County Superior Court on Tuesday against Smith. The complaint was filed citing North Carolina's alienation of affection law, which is commonly known as homewrecker law. North Carolina is one of the few states that has a law allowing married person to sue a third party for allegedly wrecking one's marriage. The lawsuit says Smith met the woman who, when she worked with the Baltimore Ravens marching band last season for a segment he filmed while working his role with the NFL Network. The woman was a member of the Ravens marching band. It's on Martinez to prove the genuine love and affection existed between him and his wife that Smith ruined. He is seeking $100,000 in damages plus attorney's fees. The lawsuit says Smith met the woman when he worked with the Baltimore Ravens marching band last season. The woman was a member of the marching band. Smith played 16 seasons, yada, 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 all of that. He has 4 children with his longtime wife. He remains employed by the NFL Network despite the lawsuit. And he's married too, with 4 kids. Man, I don't know, man. Being a guy and you're being sued for homewrecker, that's something you normally, you keep for women. That's like, okay, it's normal. There are those women out there. They're known as homewreckers and all that. It's not something that guys are ever charged with or even charge others with. You know what I'm saying? Usually you just go kick the guy's ass or something. Oh, that's a story, dude. That is a very interesting story. Now, I'll give you a story that goes from weird to super classy, super cool, super smart. And for a guy that's known to be like a party animal and those kind of things, and, he had his run-ins and everything, Baker Mayfield has grown up a lot, dude. A lot from everything that went on from college and in Cleveland, and then all the changes and all of that. Look what he did. The quarterback gave a warm welcome to their first-round pick, Emeka Egbuka. The day after Egbuka's arrival in Tampa on Friday, Mayfield and his wife, Emily, treated the former Ohio State receiver and his family to brunch. He immediately asked me for Emeka's number, he said. When is he getting in, said Jason Licht to Adam Shine on Tuesday. And he came in. We flew Emeka and his family on Friday. And on Saturday morning, Baker and his wife picked them all up and took them out to brunch just to show them around and get to know them. He didn't have to do that. And he probably doesn't want me even telling anybody that. He does this under the radar without wanting any fanfare for it. The group ate at the Tampa Club and featured Egbuka's father, Henry, his mother, Rhonda Oglivi, and stepfather, Eric Oglivi, along with Bucs Vice President of Player Engagement, Duke Preston, right tackle, Luke Gedecki, right guard, Cody Mouch, left guard, Ben Brendanson, and center, Graham Barton, and Barton's girlfriend, Sydney D'Agostoni. He's a Heisman winner. There are not too many people who have the achievement. He's done great things well in the league. He's had successful receivers all around him. I'm just excited to see be able to learn and grow with him at the helm of everything I'm doing with a seasoned vet like him, says Egbuka. That's great shit, dude. That's super smart on his part. And by the way, he spent a lot of money, because he's paying for all those people. Now he makes a lot of money, and, so he has a $2,000 bill. That ain't shit for him. He's making $20 million a year, $25 million a year, whatever it is. God bless him. You gotta invest in your career, in your life. Whatever it is that you do, you must invest in it in order to get better at it. So it's not just playing time. It's connection time. It's people time. And these are things that kid's going to remember, So I think that's big, dude. Huge. And maybe more quarterbacks do that, or more leaders do that. And we don't hear as much about it, but I got to say, for a guy like Baker Mayfield, who had a lot of growing up to do, did a lot of stupid shit early on from college and in Cleveland. A lot of stupid shit that he should have been criticized and was criticized for and was penalized for and all of that. But, okay, you got to get to a point where you learn. He learned. Like our guy Tyreek doesn't learn a goddamn thing. This guy learned. This guy learned how to be a leader, you know what I'm saying? Be a professional. Be, as Cam Newton would say, a CEO. It's a great line by Cam about Shador. He acted like a DB, not a QB. He nailed it. It's very true. And there is Baker Mayfield acting like a QB, not a DB. He used to act like a DB. He acts like a QB. He acts like a CEO. That was a CEO move. Good shit, man. Good shit. Let's see. Bianca was holding up Adrian Barbeau's ample rack in that clip. Let's see what else. She looked good in her own right at that time. Manny Pena says, damn, I forgot all about Happy Gilmore. That's a close second. Yeah, that's another great movie. That's another good one. Dougie Fresh. Oh, do you think that the Ravens marching band can also help us divorce Tyreek due to home wrecking the Fins? That's true. He is home wrecking the Fins. Chris Greer should sue Tyreek for home wrecking. I like that. Cable Guy is Jim Carney's most underrated film. Another great movie. It's funny. It's a really funny movie. No doubt. All right, folks, we're out of here. We appreciate you all out there. We thank, of course, the great Sean Stanley. Don't forget, support our show. Hit the like button. Very important. And if you can make a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and help us get to Spain. You can also make a donation there to help us get to Spain, too. Appreciate you all out there. And, of course, there's the QR code he'll show you before we go. So you can help us get to Spain. Use that QR code. Make whatever donation you can. We'd appreciate it. We got a GoFundMe page for that. And we appreciate it. Thank you all out there. We thank Manny Navarro. We thank David Furones and the great Sean Stanley. See you Monday morning. Same time, same place, same bat channel.